So tell me more about this makeup job.
It's still pretty subtle, but there's some color.
How will you know when you're done?
I assume you'll tell me that the interview is done, and then I'll just stop.
So it's based on me, not something that you're doing.
Definitely.
Welcome to another episode of Made Up. I'm your host, Danny Volk, and we're in the studio of DUSTIN BRONS. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming.
Do you know what you're going to do to me today?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, not specifically. But
Am I going to need...
Categorically, yes.
Yeah? Am I going to be in trouble?
Why would you be in trouble?
Well, I don't know. Am I going to need
It's going to be very, very minimal.
Okay. And where are you from? You live in Vancouver?
Yes, I live in and am from Vancouver.
What is Vancouver known for?
In terms of anything, or in terms of
in terms
art?
of makeup.
Oh, in terms of makeup, I really have no idea.
Would you say this is a very Vancouver-esque thing that you're going to do?
I wouldn't say I have the experience to say that.
All right. Well, we'll just have to see.
Danny, are you ready to be made up?
Yes.
Great.
I'm nervous.
Really?
Well, okay, let's talk a little bit about your work. It's durational, painful.
No.
So I just have a feeling I'm going to bleed or something.
You're going to bleed? What instrument? I don't know if there's really anything here that could...
But you might have something
that.
here. I don't know.
No. It's my full arsenal here.
Okay,
It's
all right.
Both soft brushes.
So tell me a little bit about your work.
It is mainly performance-based. Usually I do making videos or some kind of documentation, videos or photos of some kind of performance action. Usually it's quite simple. It often involves sort of an element of humor or sort of a weird juxtaposition of things.
Are your performances often for video?
Yeah, I would say most often. Logistically, it's much easier to perform for video than it is for an audience. Not in terms of being nervous or something, but just in terms of the opportunities are endless. You always have a video camera. I think the other thing is I kind of have a background in photography, and so I often think of things as even if I think of a performance, I think of the image it will sort of create. So that lends itself well to the frame of a video. I think the frame is kind of what I'm interested in.
So you started as a photographer?
Yeah, I would say so.
And so then, how did you transition into performance? What kind of got you there?
I guess the most boring answer is I took a performance art class. Even before that, I had kind of in foundation year projects, that kind of thing. I started to think about sort of those issues, but I obviously didn't. I didn't really know. Say first or second year of university, I didn't really know what performance art was.
So what are you working on now?
I've been working on here in Banff. I've been working on some videos mainly. I went up the mountain and I had this clear plastic flag on a flagpole, kind of very ad hoc, kind of homemade flag thing. It's basically a still shot of this flag that's blowing in a kind of a gentle breeze, so it goes between fully extended and mostly just sort of in between. That kind of started because when I came here I didn't really know what I was going to do, and so I kind of needed a starting off point, so I came across this the idea of transparency and invisibility and camouflage. I'm working on some other videos in the studio which are sort of experiments to do with the sort of technical capabilities of the camera and what it can see, and then I'm playing with sort of different lighting positions and techniques to make things appear and disappear.
So what kind of stuff are you doing in your studio?
I've been making mostly I sit here and use my computer. I check Facebook a lot.
Is that an inspiration for you?
No, it's just can't work all the time.
Right.
I'm horribly distracted usually, and I've been making some sculpture a little bit. Not a lot, really, just a little bit. I made some sculpture yesterday.
And that's what you do in here? You just kind of play with material? Or
I mean,
it's pretty sparse.
Yeah, it's very sparse. I wouldn't even say I play with material. I would say I occasionally bring materials in here with a kind of preconceived idea of what I'm going to do with them, you know? I wouldn't say that I do a whole lot of... I'm not very good at, like, experimenting.
So, Confuse the Cat. Can you talk a little bit about what the residency is?
So it's a residency here at the Banff Center, led by two artists, Michael Portnoy and Eva Misinichute. They are kind of focusing on the idea of confusion as like a tactic or a technique. We're sort of exploring how to use confusion or something. So we're doing a lot of group workshops with Eva leads us through a lot of sort of physical workshops. Like I think she has a lot from like the Buto tradition and sort of like dance techniques and that kind of thing. And then Michael leads us usually more through like workshops focusing on vocal like speaking techniques or things like that.
So how's the makeup going?
It's not going super well, but
Oh, is it going poorly?
you can be the judge of that later.
Oh, okay. Well, what's your strategy?
My strategy is just like the occasional like color in. I don't know. It's not really a strategy, I would say. It's more like I feel like I should be putting makeup on because it is made up with Danny Volk. So, I don't want to be like letting down the premise of the show.
Yeah.
It's really more about like as the camera sees it, my hand moving against your face.
I kind of thought you were going to make me invisible since that was your...
I don't know how I would do that, just kind of, yeah.
Then you need to work harder at this residency. Does it have a title?
No, untitled, and then in brackets, face.
Untitled face. Okay. Well, this is going to be really hard to wash off. Do you have anything... do you have some cream and stuff? Because this is the most makeup I've ever been on my face.
Most? Wow.
I'm just
incredible.
Sweating underneath it.
Wow.
I think I'm breaking out as we speak.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah. Do you have a dermatologist you could recommend?
No. I have perfect skin. I never really have to.
Well, I'll just hit the steam room for a very long time.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Dustin, for letting us in your studio.
Thanks, Danny.
This has been Made Up. We'll see you next time.